Good morning. This is Dr. Dixon. I'm back again, and as I stated, I had a small memory card, and it didn't stop at a bad place. I really was into it, and so what we're going to do, we're going to resume where the previous video left off. And I was telling you about the Genesis chapter 1 and 2, chapter 1, verse 1 and 2, how that and the earth was without form and void, and darkness upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And I got to the point where I was telling you how that the word, when we appreciate it and recognize it, and because recognition is the first thing we got to do, we got to recognize. We got to recognize. Then after we firmly and understand through recognition who it is and what it is, then we can be taught and told what to do. Now, when Paul was on his way to Damascus to get a letter of authority, see, to bind both Christians and have them locked up, a light shone from heaven, knocked him off his beast, and he fell down. And when he got up, he was blind. See, what that was, and these are things I'm trying to teach y'all, that was the beginning. I know folk interpret it different ways, but they limit their interpretation. But what that really was, that was the beginning of Paul's consciousness being awoke. All of Paul's life previous to that, he was unconscious. He didn't know what he was. He was doing something true. He was going through the rituals, the machinations of movement, talk, speech, pride, envy, all those negative character effects were full steam ahead. But God had a divine purpose for his life. He didn't even know about it. So the first thing God had to do was to knock him off his beast. What did the beast symbolize? And these are the things I teach. See, the beast symbolizes yourself. See, it symbolizes what you really are. You are a beast. The beast of yourself is ambition and desires, or what we ride on. This beast of racism, this beast of prejudice, this beast of hate and envy is what this society is built on today. So for me, the first thing for me to come to consciousness and come awoke, so that he can, and why he want to wake me up, so he can talk to me. See, I'm locked in with these 5 physical senses. I ain't trying, like my 3 monkeys, they over there. See, that see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. See, I'm locked up like those them. I ain't seeing nothing, I'm not hearing nothing, and I ain't saying nothing. So what he has to do is awake my consciousness. And that's what he did. That's what that text really means. I know the scholars have interpreted it for you, and we took their interpretation. No disrespect to them. But it will do you no good. That interpretation will do you no good. But this one, when I can see what God did through Paul, it was a picture of what he's going to do to every believer. See, who did this? Jesus did this. It's in the text. That was Christ. Paul, for the first time, that was his introduction to Jesus. And you, my friend, are no better. We got to get a awakening. We got to get Jesus must call us. Folks say, I know the text said in the Bible, we've been taught around that they that call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. But how are they going to call on him whom they have never heard, whom they know nothing about? You can't. See, it's an answer right there for you. But we've been brainwashed. We've been rendered unconscious, and we ain't even thinking. How in the world you going to call on somebody you don't even know? Man, they're playing with your intelligence. They really calling you stupid, and you don't even, you take it. You take it because you're unconscious. Now, once you know him, you can call him then. Once you know him, you can call him. Look at the text here again. Paul fell on the ground, got up, and he thought he was blind. And he heard a voice. Wait a minute. See, before he was hearing, he was, but it was the five senses. Before he was seeing, he was, but it was the five senses, and so forth and so on. The five senses. The beast that he will operate on, totally flesh, no intuition, no intellect. There was no higher voice within the range of his physical ears. The voice of God is beyond my five senses. Therefore, why I must come out of self. That's why Paul later on going to teach you so much about self. See? Dying daily. That's what all that means. Every day of my life, I got to keep on dying to my five senses, to my flesh. That's where all my problems have arisen, from my flesh. So Paul heard a voice. For the first time, he heard a voice of authority. And guess what? And the voice knew his name. He said, Paul. Paul. He said, who? And guess what Paul did? For the first time, he's coming awake, y'all. He has knowledge. He has a form of knowledge he had never had even tapped into before. He knew. See, in the oh my God, in the wonderful to know and never been taught. He knew. He knew who he was. I know who he was, because look at what he said. He said, who art thou, Lord? Consciousness. The beginning of consciousness. You thought that knowing. You thought that knowing. There's a knowing, see. It's not like figuring or I think, but it's a knowing. You just know. I don't know how I know, but down in my heart, I know. You know when somebody lied to you. Oh my God. You know when those folks don't care about you. You know it. Can you prove it? No. Can you go to the court of law and take an oath, testify and prove that what you know is true? No. But you know that you know. Consciousness. Consciousness. And that's when Paul got the instructions. As he said, who art thou, Lord? He said, I'm Jesus. He told him who he was. The confirmation. You will never get a calling without a confirmation. You will never get an unction without a confirmation. You will never press your heart, something in your heart, without a confirmation. The proof to you that it is in fact true. Hallelujah. This is what consciousness is all about. The awakening of our consciousness. So I can finally thought this, seeing the heavenly. He created the heavens and the earth, the text said. You know what that means? Most of us are down here, the earthly. Our senses are earthly. Our thoughts are earthly. Our desires are all earthly. But he created the heavens. The heavens first. Notice the order of the text. The heaven and the earth. The heaven is divine. Earthly is subconscious. Below the consciousness of God. Can't even approach him. Oh my God. Because I'm woke sleep. That's why it said that I think it's Ecclesiastes or Proverbs either. One, awake or sleep. You gotta be woke up. Wake up, sleep. Time to wake up. Time for me to arise. It's time for me to arise to the light of understanding. So this is what this is all about. Consciousness. The awakening of consciousness. All right. I think if you gonna get it, you ought to be listening now. I ought to have your attention. If I don't have your attention by now, you are still unconscious. Huh? And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. When he told Paul, he gave Paul, see, this is where you get your instructions. See, after he got your attention through the birth of consciousness, the new birth of consciousness, he then gives you some things to do. He'll tell you. The Spirit will start to lead in you. See, he tried to snatch your hands out of the hands of self. Trust me. It's a trusting thing now. I gotta trust this new sense of direction. See, that's the new birth. They wouldn't explain it to me. Nicodemus even had more sense than some of us. He said, how can a man be born the second time? Can a man enter into his mother womb again? And the Lord, he was conscious and he was inquisitive for knowledge. Once you come conscious, oh my God. He said, they that seek hunger and thirst after righteousness shall be filled. So he filled Nicodemus. He was conscious. He began to ask them questions. Consciousness will make you question what you've been taught and told. If you're not questioning the stuff that you've been taught and told, then it's because you haven't come conscious. But if you have a question in your mind, that is the first signs of consciousness. You need to follow it. That's your destiny. That's your purpose. That's your plan. I told you, right here it said that it was void. See? And the earth was without form and void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. And God, the Spirit of God moved upon the waters. And it said, let there be light. God have said to you, spoke light into your consciousness. And you're dissatisfied with where you are, with what the teaching that you've been submitting to. You know that you know. And it does make you feel bad. Solomon said, with the gaining of knowledge comes vexation of spirit. See, that's the sad part about it. When you're around, surrounded by people who are unconscious. They're your loved ones. They're your brothers and sisters. They're your close friends. And they're still unconscious. And you want to help them. But see, no one, you can't help them. See, it tells us again, no man can come through the Father except the Father draw him. These early pangs of consciousness that now you can see just how far off the mark we truly are. And it grieves your spirit. And those are that God speak to them. He appoints the time when and who it is, when he knocks them off the beast of their self. And knocks them off to get up. And they'll rise. And they go to the street called straight. See, that's a type right there. Those are descriptions, definitive descriptions of this new birth. But we never been told that. We thought we interpreted it in an entirely different way. My God, so much at our disposal that we don't even recognize and know about. We need to go to the street called straight. What does it mean by that? See? What it means is that we got to pursue more understanding. Because it said he already gave us a promise. They that hunger and thirst after righteousness shall be filled. You're going to be filled. He's going to supply means and people and places and situations that are conducive for your development. So you can be woke. So you can come out of the darkness into the marvelous light. Genesis 1 and 2. In the beginning. See, read it again. Darkness. See, darkness. And the earth with a form and void. And darkness upon the face of the deep. Everywhere you look in the world, you see darkness. Total darkness. Alienation. Going backwards instead of forward. Some laws changing that are supporting things that are contrary to the word of God. Darkness seemed to prevail. The divine order of God? No. He spoke light. He has spoken light. And he had made you a distributor of that light. He had made you a beacon of that light. He said, for you a city setting up on a hill. Huh? A light up on a candlestick to give light. See? And it's always an upper position. Just like in the Genesis, heaven was above the earth. Same thing with this consciousness thing. You that are conscious are above those that are still unconscious. And they must look up to get the light. As we look up toward the dawn of the new sun, so we must look up. And like David said, I will lift up my eyes unto the hill which cometh my help. See, that's what God is doing in Genesis. He's bringing help to the world. Speaking order out of confusion. Order out of chaos. He's there through consciousness to help us to organize our lives and destinies. This is what he does. The supreme God does. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. See? The light, this consciousness that you're going to start to coming into. See, we've been taught by the mathematicians division, multiplication, subtraction, and addition, the basics. See, and this is what God does in the beginning. In the very beginning, the first mathematical principle he invoked was division. See, as he awakens your consciousness, as he awakes in you, and by the way, he is that light. See, that's going to start coming on. It's him. It's God. He's going to start the dividing. That light is going to start dividing as it possesses more and more of your conscious life. More and more of your conscious life. More and more of your conscious being. He's going to start dividing. See, the light from the darkness. Error from truth. Flesh from spirit. He's going to start dividing. Pushing it asunder. He has a purpose in mind. See, he thought they're dividing the land from the water, pushing them apart. He has a plan because you are void of understanding and light, and he has a plan. He want to bring that land up. See, bringing that earth. See, heaven, earth, bringing that earth that's been hidden from your view because you were subconscious and unconscious. He's bringing it to the surface, and then lands appear. See? The first principles for we can build upon. You got to have some land. You can't. No. He wants to build on the land. Bring the land. See, up. That which has been submerged must be surfaced. Must resurface. So we can build something thereon. Alright, and God saw the light that was good, and God divided, verse 4, and God divided the light from darkness, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Yes, God divides. He divides. And to skip the, because I do have a time frame here, but that limited call, you know, there was story, the 7 days of marriage, first day, second day, third day, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and 7 days. And the number 7 is a great day of completion. Those are the cycles that you're going to go through. Those are the birth pains that you're going to go through. And you hear the growing pains. These are the growing pains. As your spiritual development progresses, you're going to go. And these are the things that as you subscribe to my teachings, I will get to you, and I will help you and to show you as you go through those pains. I will be like a midwife for you and help you to arrive. Alright? Let's skip on down then. Verse 7. Say, let there be a firmament in the midst. 6. Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. See, he's using division. Later on, I'm going to show you how you use addition and multiplication. Oh man, this stuff's going to get better. It's going to get better, y'all. Listen. And verse 6, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. See? And God made the firmament, verse 7, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning was the second day. Well, let's skip on down there. I read all that. There you go. Verse 9. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And you know the story, bring forth the herbs and the grass. See, I told you, God had a purpose in mind. He has a purpose in mind. He had a purpose in mind for that void existence, chaotic state. He had a purpose, and you see it fulfilling. You see the progression of God working in our consciousness. See, all this really is a type. It's in Genesis. I'm gonna give y'all a nutshell. You know what? Did you start looking at Genesis in a different way? Just when you think about Genesis, think about the human brain, the human body. Think about it. Like when you see that in the almanac, they have that naked man in there with his stomach torn, the astrological man, under the 12 sign.
Think about that, a man. Think about you going through the different stages of development, the different signs. This is not heresy. See, as you've been supposed. And they've been taught. You've been taught wrong. That's why, if you think I've been taught wrong, why do you think the farmers go by the almanac? Why do they plant by the almanac? Why do they harvest by the almanac? See, this is age-old wisdom that we've been taught to look down with disdain. And they keep you stupid. You've been mistold. And it's carried over to the church. Even with the word, we've been mistold. See, this is glory for glory of God. This shows the divine wisdom of God. God set the seasons in their respective places. He set the moon to rule by night, the stars, the sister, and the sun to rule by day. God did this seasons. He said time and seasons. When I come conscious, I know this. When I start getting conscious, I understand that. When I come conscious, I thought that of setting my day based upon God's principles of His laws. And when I outline and cooperate with the laws, I'm blessed. And when I work against His laws, chaos and calamity can ensue. That's all I'm trying to teach you guys to do. And this is what we do here. You get a better appreciation of the word. The land will appear. See, the destination. Where you're going to see it. You always see a promised land. He always puts it within our view. Okay, that's where heaven is. One of these days, I'm going to sweep around the gates of the city. You know, we ain't sung them songs. It's a place in view. It's a precept. It's a principle that we work on. It gives us hope and faith. It encourages us to keep on going. Man, I'm just trying to get you. That's why Genesis, it is the foundation. It is the key. It is the beginning of knowledge. It's right here. This book right here. So you stay in this book and master it. Take your time. Don't be in no hurry. Because I told you, the old contains what the New Testament explains. You'll see that new leaping out of here. So, oh, there it is over yonder. You say, oh, there it is over yonder. Oh, there it is over yonder. Man, come on. Now, if I've said something that you really like, and all I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to put it out there, and you want to subscribe to my teachings, if you want to learn more, I'll definitely help you. All you have to do is email me at jimdixie4@hotmail.com and tell me you would like to be one of my students. I do not charge for this, but I will. But this is what I'm going to say, because time is money. I do not charge, but I do expect a donation. Then that donation will help me to keep doing what I'm doing. See, I put a lot of work in this, and like I tell folks, you sit at my table and get fat, then you ought to leave me a tip. If it's worth something to you. If it's worth something to you. I ain't supposed to have to charge you in the first place. But I will accept a donation that'll help me to continue doing what I'm doing. Email me again at jimdixie4. I prefer email because just send me an email, jimdixie4@hotmail.com. In the email, tell me you want to take my Bible lessons. And like I told you, I do expect a donation. And I will leave that up to you, what you think it's worth. See, I'm not in it for money, but I do need money. We operate in money. We haven't got to heaven yet. Like folks say, the preacher, some church said, well, Pastor, we're not trying to pay you. I heard him say that, Pastor Elevator. I said, my God. I said, well, you ought to be. I never said it, but I wanted to say it. They told me that one time. I gotta say, well, y'all ain't. God mighty knows. They expect you to live on the earth, preach on the earth, take them to heaven, but you bored in heaven. You ain't got there yet. You tired, man. Come on here. This is, you know, if I done treated you, gave you some good word, and yeah, I want to teach for. I do. I want to share my knowledge with you, the one that want it. See, and just try it. and see what you can get out of it. See? Let me help wake your conscience. Let me wake you up. Let me help wake you up. Well, this will conclude this segment of the Dr. Dixon's Bible class. Hope you've enjoyed everything. Please send me some emails so I can put you in and I can start the whole group. I will include the written lessons and the sources and everything. And I'm not going to do all this work. You're going to have to do it. I'm going to point you in the right direction and give you everything you need to get you there. See, I'm going to do that. You know, so let's support and let's do this. Let's turn out. Yeah, I ain't asking nobody to leave their church. I ain't saying nothing about you leaving your church. You can stay right there if you want. Wherever you are, you stay right there. Hey, but my job is to teach you. See, show you the light, and I'm going to do that. So, thank you for tuning in, and we will be coming back again with more videos of this sort. Have a great day.